It's time to turn our attention back to the 2020 Seahawks. And here to help us preview the upcoming season, our freelance writer and frequent third Pelton brother, who's already on, Natalie Weiner, as well as the Seahawks beat writer for The Athletic Seattle, Michael-Shawn Dugar. We got you guys unmuted.
Yep.
How's it going?
It's good. I'm happy to be here. Very honored to be alongside Mike-Shawn, who knows exponentially more than I do about this upcoming season. But
I'm realizing now that I have it's a Yeti, I guess. I got it as a wedding gift because I was in a wedding. I didn't get married. I just realized you're supposed to put the beer in the, like this. I actually have the beer, the liquids in the thing.
You're supposed to put the whole can in?
I think so. Yeah.
It's like a koozie. It's like a fancy koozie.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I didn't realize that until just now. I didn't get explained. I got this at a wedding I got kicked out of too. So it's like very long story, but yeah, let's talk Seahawks.
Well, I would like to spotlight not as good of a story as getting kicked out of a wedding, but I have a Seahawks mug because it's 1 a.m. here, and so I'm drinking decaf Metcalf coffee.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Just fully soaking in the Seahawks vibes.
I want to start a little bit by talking about the unusual nature of this 2020 season. Obviously, wildly different in the NFL. No preseason, lots of protocols to try to keep players and coaches and everybody safe. Mike, I wanted to ask first, what's the experience of covering training camp been like for you compared to past years? And are you getting tested every day?
Yeah, I've been keeping track on my Instagram. I have to go look. I'm pretty sure I have 24 COVID tests in the month of August. No, 22. 22 COVID tests in the month of August. I wear a tracking device every day at the facility that beeps whenever I get within 6 feet of someone who's tier 3. I'm tier 2. That means we could be in the building. I have to get scanned my temperature every day. There's something else I got to do. Oh, they scan my face on the Clear app. So we got to download Clear and use that to get into the building every day. It's like getting in a fucking FBI building. It's a lot to get in there and watch training camp. So that's kind of weird. The big deal with training camp, anyone who's ever been to one, you get to be right up on the players and talk to them, and you see them with their families, and there's just kind of none of that. If I get too close, I got too close to KJ Wright during camp once. We were just talking about something. And then the one of the PR guys comes in. It's like, get away. It was like a principal at a school dance. Like a ruler. I don't know if you guys have that at school, but how to
Mrs. Fantasy Genius did.
It was really awkward. Me and KJ was like, we're grown. Get the fuck out. But we listened. But yeah, camp is really weird in that way. It's become to the point I know the names of the testing ladies who do my corona test on first name. Vicky from Station 2, I think Nikki's in Station 1. Just randomly, that's how often I get tested. That
wow.
It's a lot to get into camp.
Natalie, from your perspective, did someone mute me? Who muted me? Natalie, from your perspective, no training camp. What's it been like? Can you get hyped for the season in the same way without a former UW wide receiver to be excited about their preseason performance? In this case, presumably Aaron Fuller.
I think less the lack of training camp access in preseason and more just the general chaos of the world has been distracting me from engaging fully in Seahawks hype. But yeah, it's just kind of a different vibe also to have so many other sports still going on, full throttle during the beginning of football season. It's kind of just it's hard to focus, but I'm sure after this first game, somebody's gonna pop up. I'm gonna be that's the guy, I don't want to say the next Kristen Michael because some shoes are too big to really think of filling, but there's going to be some wild card guy. I don't know. Mike-Shawn, who do you think will be the wild card favorite that will become beloved by Seahawks Twitter?
That's a good one. It would have been John Ursua, I would guess.
Right. Maybe he already is though. That doesn't count.
Man, that's a tough one. I think I think DJ Dallas would be a good one. He's got
That's
some
the
personality.
one.
He's a
DJ
fun
Dallas.
cat. I like him a lot. He doesn't know how to lie to us yet, so that's really fun. Once you get to like year 4 or year 3, like you learn how to lie to us on Zoom or whatever. DJ is like, oh yeah, I'll tell you whatever I'm feeling because that's what I'm supposed to do. I like you guys. We haven't burned him yet. We will. We haven't yet, but until we do, DJ Dallas might be the guy.
This reminds me once with a rookie Sonics player. I was like, man, this player is so nice and earnest. It's going to be a really depressing when they become old and get jaded. And the punchline to that
Swift.
story, it was Robert Swift.
Was it really Robert Swift?
It really was Robert Swift. And 100% was. It's a sad story.
He got old and jaded by like 23.
Well, yeah, we don't have time to get into it, unfortunately. What we're going to do now in a Peltoncast tradition is to go through the Seahawks offseason in photos. So we're going to return to PowerPoint for that one.
I love when we go to PowerPoint.
Gotta love the PowerPoint. All right, first off, February 24th, they signed Greg Olsen.
Yeah, I really forgot this happened. It feels like 7,000 years ago, but yeah, an old
like
guy.
A pre-pandemic signing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which there's the before times and the after times. There's separated by many, many, years seemingly. Mike, how's he looked in training camp?
He looks all right. I mean, it sucks. It's weird. Pete Carroll called Greg old, which is weird because Greg's like, how old is Greg? Like 34, 35 maybe? And Pete's like 100. So when he called him like old, but he was like, he's old, but he can still move well. And I was like, are you talking about yourself or are you talking about Greg?
Okay, I have a really important note, just sidebar, that while I was preparing for this podcast, I found an important piece of information, which is that Pete Carroll turned 69 on Tuesday. So
nice.
Just want to share that with the podcast.
Okay, next
You're the
up.
only person to prepare for this podcast.
Well, I felt like I had to.
Look, the separation is in the preparation.
This PowerPoint didn't make itself. All right, next up, March 16th, the Seahawks re-sign Jarran Reed.
Man, I was pissed about that. Man, I was trying to break that. Sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to comment every picture, but I was supposed to break this story, and I wasn't thinking about it too much. I went to the place where he was training at, not knowing he was training. I went to go meet another player to talk about the CBA, and Jay Reed was there. I was like, oh, it was March. It's March 14th, so this must be when it became
the official date. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was March 14th. I was there, and I said, hey, Jay Reed, what's up, man? You coming back? He was like, I'm trying to. It's like, what they offer you? I said, man, I can't tell you that. It's like, I mean, I already know what they offered you, but I'd like you to tell me because I'm standing here. I didn't expect to see you. He's like, man, it's just, I don't know. I won't talk about it. I don't have a relationship with Jay Reed, but I figure, I mean, dog, I'm standing in front of you. And then, like, as soon as I get home, working on the story about the CBA, boom, his contract breaks. I'm like, well, fuck, dog, I was right here. I think it was Garofalo, NFL Network, who broke it. I don't remember, but I was really pissed. Like, I could have had that. And he just didn't want to give it to me, even though I knew the numbers already. I just wanted to see if he'd confirm them to me because I know, I was going to break it. It's dumb. It doesn't really matter because once it hits, everyone already knows it. But, for a journalist, I want to be first.
Yeah, and also, like, who cares what Garofalo does? It's more exciting if you do it.
Yeah, that sucked.
All right, next up.
So we hate Jarran Reed is like what we're takeaway.
I actually really like Jay Reed, fun guy. He's an Omega. I'm a big fan of Omegas, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. He's the only player who has me blocked on Twitter. And I don't
Wait, so more reasons that he said
it's weird. I've never asked him about it. I need to. I always forget when I see him. But yeah, he's the only player that has me blocked.
This reminds me of, I think, the first time I ever met Zach Whitman at the Bill Barnwell.
He had you blocked on Twitter?
No. Look, I was searching my email because I didn't know if I had Zach's email to include him in the rundown, the show notes. And there was an email that Ben Golliver had forwarded me of Zach transcribing a D'Antonio Wingcast in like 2009. So Zach and I actually go way back, even though we didn't know it. About all the Seahawks players who had him blocked on Twitter was the conversation. Which is a lot. We'll get into that later, maybe. Next up, 2 days later, the Seahawks bring back Bruce Irvin because there is nothing the Seahawks love more than signing players who used to play here.
Look, it's called loyalty or something, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. I love it because it's just like, why not? Honestly, that's my big question. What's the downside?
The players have
really
to play somewhere else first.
Right.
That's the thing. They don't like bringing back players that were on the team, say, last year.
No, we'll get into that.
But they have to go somewhere else and then come back.
Bruce just got one of those agents who doesn't hit me back. My messages with him are just blue. It's just me blowing him up. I just look really thirsty.
Okay, but there's a saying about that. It's like, if you love someone, let them go. You know, if they come back, it's real. If they don't, like, they were never yours to begin with or something. So maybe Pete Carroll just really subscribes to that. I don't know.
March 24th, the Seahawks trade for Quentin Dunbar, a move that we're going to see how it works out as his case continues, I guess, to unfold even after the decision not to pursue charges.
If you guys are bored ever and you want to fall down a rabbit hole, Google his first lawyer for that case.
Yeah. That guy sounded like a piece of work.
Jesus Christ.
Say the name again since I spoke over you.
Michael Greco?
Yeah.
Is the name? Oh,
I think it's like IECO.
Yeah, I spelled it wrong in one of my stories on accident, actually. But yeah, Google that dude if you're like bored and want to fall down like a rabbit hole. Just Google his name and like Miami Herald, and you'll be on the internet for like 4 hours reading just corrupt government shit in South Florida.
Wow.
Oh, Florida man delivering again. April 23rd, the Seahawks do not trade down in the NFL draft and draft Texas Tech linebacker Jordan Brooks. How's he looked in camp?
Really fast. I really felt like I felt bad for him almost because I don't trust the Seahawks front office. So when they took a player, I was like, he's not going to be good. Not even because I know anything about him. I learned who he was the day of the draft, but I was just like, I don't trust you guys to be the smartest people in the room. You took an off-ball linebacker at 27. Nah, that's not going to work. It sucks because it has nothing to do with Jordan personally. That's probably why his agent doesn't have me back either. Probably saw some of those tweets. He will be good, though. I just don't think that's a position you take in the first round. I personally only think after the first, 7 picks, you really should only pick, a quarterback, a receiver, a defensive end, a corner, or a left tackle. If you can't get any of those from picks 9 to 32, trade back. That's kind of just my philosophy. So anything they would have done there would have not yielded enough value for me to be happy about their pick. Nothing to do with Jordan. I don't know what he's going to be good. Looks fine. He has great thighs. But other than that, I don't really know much about him.
This guy's out, thighs out.
Yeah, excellent thighs. You should have come on our post-draft podcast with Zach, who we'll hear from shortly, and been incredibly negative about everything the Seahawks did and be told that we were too negative about everything in this draft.
All right, next up in the Seahawks offseason, we move ahead 2 months.
Wow.
They surprise us all by trading for Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
I almost lost my computer this day. So for this wedding that I got the cup, we were at the bachelor party at Crescent Bar. It's in the middle of the state, central Washington-ish. We're on a boat, and I'm typing my story for this, and then a wave hits the boat, splashes my computer.
What?
So I was writing my lead for this because it broke on a Saturday. I'm on the boat, and then I'm looking at the boat driver like, dog, you didn't see the fucking wave? You see me with my computer. I'm almost about to fight the boat driver guy. I'm really upset. I've been drinking all day. And then eventually we get my computer to come back on, but there was a 30-minute window there where I was super pissed, wasn't able to do the story, and I was drunk as hell on a boat. Eventually got it all fixed and everything. But yeah, like I said, I almost lost my computer that day and almost fought some random boat driver in the middle of the state.
Okay, Mike, now is the time to tell us the rest of the story about getting kicked out of the wedding.
Okay, the short version.
If you know the date, then I can throw that in here in a slide, maybe.
The date of the wedding? I definitely know the date of the wedding. August 22nd. Okay, short version. I'm one of the groomsmen. I'm 4 of 6. I show up at the rehearsal dinner. There's a sign.
Are there rankings?
Well, this is important. I'm one of the 4 of the 6. There's 6 of us, but 4 of us are really tight. This is going to be important later. There's a sign outside the wedding. It says 3 bullet points. No lie. It says no COVID, no politics. Masks are optional. 3 bullet point. I show up to the rehearsal dinner the day before. The bride's dad is a cop. He has a Blue Lives Matter hat on.
Oh,
It's a Polynesian guy, and I'm one of the only people wearing masks at the rehearsal dinner. I have my mask is right here. Actually, it says, if you guys can see that, it says legalize blackness. I'm also the only black person at the wedding. No, one of the other groomsmen is. So 2 black people, 70 people there. Next day at the wedding, one of the groomsmen, he looks at a guy's socks in the line for food at the reception. He says, "Hey man, your socks suck." The socks say Trump 2020.
What?
Right, no politics. Harmless joke. Turns out that's the guy whose house this is. So he flips out on the dude. He's like, "Dude, look, don't talk to me like that. Fuck you, blah, blah, blah." Wows out. Goes and tells the bride's dad. Remember, this guy's a cop. Tells the dad, he's like, "Hey, he's making fun of my socks. Also, he's saying cops don't matter, defund the police, bunch of other shit." My friend didn't say. So we got a cop who's pissed. His daughter's crying on her wedding day. These are Polynesian guys, too. These big dudes. So they come storming in, basically say, "Hey, you guys got to get the fuck out." And I'm like, "What's going on?" I get into not argument with the dad. The dad gives me some speech about, "Hey, we don't want to do politics." And in my head, I'm like, he had a Blue Lives Matter hat on at the press dinner. Don't make sense. Anyway, my homie says, "Mike, let's just go." So we got kicked out of the wedding for being anti-Trump, essentially, by some Samoan cops from Auburn. And I got a Yeti.
You won that story.
Yeah, you are 100% on the side of righteousness. I don't even know why you were skeptical about telling that story. It's like,
I mean, I just wanted to shorten it. That's the shortest version of it. But yeah, that wedding sucked. I can't believe so 4 of the groomsmen got kicked out of the wedding. There was only 6. So we got booted before the best man speech. Like that was pretty bad. They've erased us from all the pictures and everything. Like it's awful. I haven't heard from the groom. That was like 4 weeks ago or something.
what?
Haven't heard from him since.
You got a Yeti. You were on a boat in the middle of summer, which seems great. Your computer didn't get destroyed, and you stood up for what's right. Plus, this is the best Seahawks offseason in review that we have ever done.
The thing is, I didn't even do anything. My friend is who mentioned the socks. Like I told myself in my head, okay, don't worry about the bride's dad. You're just a guest. Don't say anything. Wear your mask. Get out of here. The other thing, side note, the guy who flipped out on my friend about his socks was like, "Yeah, you guys be wearing masks is so dumb." I was like, okay, that's a pointed comment. There's like 2 people at this wedding of 75 wearing masks. I was one, and my friend was the other, who was also a groomsman. So basically, we just look like fuck. We just got kicked out for being just at the wrong wedding, essentially. But yeah, I don't really care.
I can't believe a guy would tell you that you look dumb and he's wearing Trump socks. Like, there's levels here.
I told my homie who was in the line that said the thing. I was like, "Doug, you know how much you gotta love something to put it on your socks?" Like that's a real commitment to something. Like I'm covered in tattoos personally, and I don't love anything enough to put it on my socks. He really loved that thing to put it on his socks with a sign that says "No politics." It was that was a terrible way.
Stuff on your socks
turned out all right. I'm just not in any of them. And also had to rent a suit for like $200 for like a day. Yeah, we didn't buy the suits; we rented them. So that was a little bit of a loss.
Stuff on your socks is reserved for the zombie Gary Payton and Sean Kemp socks, and In and Out. Those are the 2 things worth putting on socks, like caring enough about. All right, Jamal Adams.
That's funny.
Yeah, hopefully the Jamal Adams trade works out better than that wedding.
Everything is better than that wedding, man. That was terrible.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. I feel like, do I have some kinship with Jamal Adams? Kind of, because he came from the Jets, like maybe.
All right, we wrap up our offseason recap on September 6th. The Jadeveon Clowney watch ends with him signing with the Titans. You have any good stories about this one, Mike?
I don't have one about this one, unfortunately. Other than that, his agent as well looked very thirsty texting him. Let me see if I still have that thread. Yeah, no, not a ton. I sent him a picture of something. Hold on, make sure I know what that is before I show that. I won't load. But no, thankfully, I'm just glad this one was over, to be honest. I got some really good insight about him at the Combine and was basically told that if he was going to get a big deal, it was going to be from a bad team, like one of the New York teams or like Cleveland. And if he wanted a good be on a good team, it would be something that looks like this. I could have told him this. He should have just gave me the 3%, to be honest. I could have told him this in fucking February.
Yeah, that reporting was very accurate in hindsight, as frustrating as it was at the time.
The whole time it was very, very accurate. Like that. As I know, like the people who have this stuff, like Pelissero, Garofalo, even Diana Rossini, like obviously Rapp and Schefter, like they have some good stuff. But I know for a fact that all of that was sound. Well, was going to give him $20 fucking million after 3 sacks. This is not how that works around here. No wonder he fired his agent. The agent was terrible.
Okay. Next up, we're going to go over/under on some statistics for the 2020 season. We're going to start with Russell Wilson pass attempts. Over or under last season's total of 516. Mike, what do you think?
16 pass attempts. I will go under. I think they're going to be ahead more often now. The defense isn't as bad.
Natalie?
Okay, well, I'm going to go under too, but not for a smart reason. I mean, like, we already played the audio, you know, of the Pete being anti-letting Russ cook thing. And I think it's like, there's some part of him, I think, that is like going to react to that being a trend and just be like, no, we're running like all the time now. Because like, I don't think he's the kind of guy who like doesn't want to be told what to do.
So like all of us then.
Well, no, but like even more so, like, you know, he's not willing to look at constructive criticism. He's like, no, it's not going to be a thing.
Over? You're going over?
Over. Way over. Come on. They're going to let Russ cook the smallest amount this year.
I'm with Mike on this one. I'm going under. All right. On the related topic of how much they're letting Russ cook, Chris Carson carries over or under 250. He had 278 last season and 247 the year before. Let's start this time with Natalie.
I'll do over.
What is it? It's 250?
Yep.
I'm going to take the under on that, too. I think their backfield's a little bit better, too, a little deeper. They'll have Penny back. Hyde's really good. Yeah, I'll take the under on that, too.
Under.
I'm also under on this one. I think Mike and I are on the same page. Again, DK Metcalf touchdowns, 7.5. Is he going to improve on last season's 7 as a rookie? Let's start with Tristan.
I'm going under for touchdowns. I think he'll be a better receiver overall, but touchdowns are so random that he'll be at 7.
Natalie.
Yeah, I think under 2. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know anything, but I always tell everyone, like, don't take Seahawks in fantasy because they're just like, so like no Seahawks skill position person is like reliable. So for points, for touchdowns.
Mike.
The year I won one of my fantasy leagues, I had Jermaine Kearse, who won me like $900. So
wow. Okay. That just goes to show me. I don't know.
Well, it was like really random. They got smoked by the Rams, but he caught a garbage time touchdown in like 2016 or something like that. So I ended up winning that week.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was great. That's $150 buy in that league. Let's see. I'll take the over on that. Actually, I think he'll be their number 1 receiver. I think he's the most talented receiver on the league on the team. Like Tyler's great, he's really efficient, but I mean DK had 7 drops last year. Like if he cuts that in half, he has 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. Like as a rookie, like that's pretty. And he fumbled twice, once on the goal line,
right there.
Yeah, like right there in the Niners game, like right at the goal line.
Oh,
that's another touchdown right there. He can't like really be guarded. I don't think, except by like Patrick Peterson, which is weird. So yeah, I'll take the over on that.
Josh Gordon games played over under 10.5. Mike.
Way under. I just can't. I think Josh is a cool cat. I don't know him that well, but the people I do that know him, rock with him. He's if he gets reinstated, he'll be reinstated for like the 7th time or something like that. That's more than a repeat offender, man. That's a lot. I'll take the under.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but he played 11 games last season and 12 the season before. So that's why I went the over-under there. Zach and Raj. Natalie, your take on this one.
Wait, what was the number that you gave again?
10.5. You can just say under.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think under. I mean, it's funny because I had some random person who I know from like music writing ask me this exact same question. I was like, what? I don't know. He was asking for like fantasy purposes, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
The Jazz Cats are in on Josh Gordon.
Yeah, hey, I don't know, apparently.
They're wanting to know. This is an under also.
Will Dissly games played over under 6.5. Let's start with Tristan.
Over.
Natalie?
Looking healthy, looking great. Thrill Dissly is back, baby.
Thrill Dissly. Oh.
Well, I mean, unless Luke Wilson takes his spot back. I'm just kidding. Over, I think.
Mike?
Man, Thrill Dissly is throwing me off here.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one before either.
Yeah, I've never. Wow, that's really good. There was a dude I grown up with in the hood. His name was Will the Thrill. Bad little dude. And I don't know what he's doing. He's probably in jail. But that was when I think of that name. Because his name is Will as well. It's like Will the Thrill Dissly. That's funny. I'll take the over though. I'm just this. I have nothing for this. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. Watching Will. I was at both games when Will got hurt. And so, like, seeing him carted off or carried off both times, man, I don't want to see that in the 3rd year. I hope he plays 100 games this year. What's the max? 20? 19, 20 that he can play? I hope he plays all of
them. By the way, when are you heading to Atlanta?
So I'm doing a red eye, actually, tomorrow night.
Saturday, okay.
I land the morning of the game because they wanted us to try to keep it as, like, inexpensive as possible. Which is dumb because they waited like till 2 weeks before the game for us to book it. Flying across the country, you can't really make that cheap, right? But yeah, I'm leaving Saturday night.
Has anyone talked you into Magic City yet?
I made the mistake of announcing somewhere on Thursday. Oh, we did an NFL
podcast,
panel.
Right?
No, an NFL panel on Twitter.
Okay.
It was live, and I said I'm not going, and everyone was like, "Dude, what?" Like, once an agent texted me, and was like, if you're going to go to Magic City, why are you going to Atlanta at all? And I'm just like, wow, you guys are peer pressuring the hell out of me. Like, I feel like I have to go now. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't know. I'm gonna try to get a hold of Lou Will and ask him if it's worth it. He doesn't follow me, but I'm pretty sure I could get to him if I needed to and ask him if it's worth it. Ask someone. There's like 6 Seahawks from Atlanta, so I'll ask them. Nico Thorpe's from Atlanta. Yeah. Chris Carson, Jay Reed's family is in Atlanta. DJ Dallas from Atlanta. I'm missing a big one there who's from Atlanta. But yeah, I'll ask them.
I mean, we hung out in Atlanta like years ago.
Super Bowl, right?
TBT.
No social distancing going on.
No.
0.
Yeah, it was fun.
Right, Seahawks players with at least 5 sacks this season, over under 1.5 after they had 0 last season. Let's start with Mike.
Nobody wanted to answer.
It's 5.5.
5 sacks, over under 1.5.
I'll take one on that, or I'll take the over.
Over would be 2.
Oh, over. No. Okay, under then. Over then. Hot take maybe. I think Jamal will be the guy that has the 1, or that has more than 5.
That's definitely a hot take.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
He had 6.5 last year, but probably some regression. Tristan?
I'll go over. What the hell?
Natalie?
I'm going to go under. Be conservative.
Go over here. Going to go with an over here. Okay, next up here. Quentin Dunbar games, over under 11.5. Let's start with Mike again on this one.
I'll take the over on that. I've talked to a lot of legal experts about this one. He should be fine. Which is weird because 4 dudes are just like, "Hey man, you robbed me," and he's like, "No, I didn't." Like that's really, that's honestly, it does a lot of stuff that's happened. That is really the core of it. 4 dudes said, "You robbed me." Quentin's like, "No, I didn't," and he's free. Like that's it. Meanwhile, DeAndre Baker's like, "You robbed me." He's like, "No, I didn't," and they're like, "Well, you had a gun." He's like, "Ah, shit, I did, huh?" So now he's probably gonna go to jail. But yeah, I'll take the over on that. I think Quentin will start on Sunday too, actually.
Natalie,
I'll do over too.
Tristan.
Over. Mrs. Fantasy Genius just asked if she can mail Eric Manley something. So something's coming for you in the mail, Eric Manley.
There you go.
You're doing good. Doing good on the video. Drinking a Rainier Tall Boy.
Okay. Let's go to Seahawks wins. Their line, as we talked about on yesterday's podcast, is 9 wins. Over, under 9 wins. Tristan, we already got an over from you. Let's start with Natalie.
I want to say over too. Yeah. I mean, it just feels like enough of the pieces are in place. I don't know. I was reading Mike-Shawn's preview, I found it pretty convincing. It's like they're obviously going to drop at least a game to each of the other NFC West people because we just know how that works, right? And then some weird game to like the Dolphins, probably. And I don't know what else, So, but yeah, I don't know. Russell is Russell, so I have faith.
Mike, over, under 9 wins.
Yeah, I was just checking what I predicted. What did I go with?
You predicted 12-4.
Yeah, there
we go.
I like that. I think they got really lucky with the divisions they play that aren't theirs. They play the AFC East, which is shit, and then they play the other shit one.
NFC South, right?
No, it's the NFC East.
Right.
They play the NFC East, yeah.
Which just got a bunch of just unreliable quarterbacks in it, other than Dak. So you should get.
Or the Carson Wentz slander.
They should go like 4-2 in the division, I think. And then they should sweep the AFC East, I think. And probably they might lose that Dallas game. But that's what, like 7-1 outside their division alone. I think that's pretty good. That's kind of where I'm thinking. And I think their pass defense is probably going to be the best in the NFC. Them and the Rams in New Orleans also have the best 3 pass defenses, I think.
Do you think they're going to go 4-2 in the division? Which team are they going to beat twice?
Probably Arizona.
They always lose the game to the Cardinals.
Arizona, I think. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
It's
home.
weird.
San Francisco. Cardinals at home is a loss. There's no chance.
Last year, the Cardinals game was weird because they were like starting Lano Hill, didn't have Clowney, didn't have Quandre. There was and Budda Baker was just like a missile. Budda Baker broke CJ Prosis's arm and Chris Carson's hip in the first half alone. That's insane. Like that's hard.
Okay, now do the previous 8 Cardinals games at home.
All the
They beat the Cardinals in 2018, didn't they? Yeah, they beat Rosen. They beat Rosen in week 17, 2018, at home.
Barely.
Yeah, they did. They gave up 6 7.
Barely.
That's because George Fant was starting at right tackle, and I think Ifedi was playing right guard, and they just got wrecked the whole game.
The dream team, Fant and Ifedi.
Yeah, that was
2 heroes.
That was not good. I like both of those. Jermaine Ifedi was one of my favorite Seahawks too, but him and George on the right side that week was just god awful. Like they would have to admit that. They gave up like 6 sacks. Somebody should look that up. But I'm pretty sure they gave up 6 sacks in week 17 of 2018. Like it was really bad.
Okay, our last over-under 1.5 playoff win for the Seahawks. Let's start with Tristan.
Fuck it, we're going over.
There you go.
Let's go.
There it is. Natalie?
Over. I was at the Philly game this year. I endured all that slander. I did not endure it for nothing.
Mike?
Making it clear why I love George Fant. Big
saw
no. I had a really big argument with someone. It was me and Gino and George versus someone who was a really big Eminem fan, and I just cannot stand Eminem. So it was I had to ride for my guy Wayne. This is before
From earlier, sounds like maybe Lockett.
No, he is a rapper and a poet, but I can't really argue music with him. The music guys in the locker room that I can argue with are Gino, well, not anymore, but Gino, George, Dwayne Brown, who's a big Nas guy, which says a lot about Dwayne.
That he's old.
Yeah. You're a Nas fan from Virginia? Like, what? Come on. What the fuck is wrong with you? Justin Britt, who has the best musical taste on the roster, probably. And Jay Reed all have good taste in music. But yeah, George is my guy. I didn't forgot what playoff wins. I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make it a clean sweep on the over.
Over under times that Justin Britt was called the best music fan on the Seahawks roster anywhere on earth.
It's one of those weird things because no one is in the locker room, but if you do, you'll see him in there with this big ass boombox playing the hottest new shit all the time until Luke Wilson comes and cranks up some house music, and then everyone tells him to shut the fuck up. I'm a big movie guy. If you guys have all seen the movie Life, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, a ton of superstars in it. There's a scene where they're all imagining Ray's boom boom room, and Martin Lawrence's character is trying to sleep in their bunks. And he leans over and is like, "Hey, pipe down. Ain't we trying to hear that bullshit?" That's basically everyone when Luke plays techno. There was a defensive player came over and was like, "Luke, turn this shit off." And he did it right away. I won't say which player, but he made it very known, like, I'm the captain. Turn this fucking shit off.
Okay, so we know it's the Seahawks defensive captain.
Well, no, not a captain. Like one of those. You know the movie? What movie is that? Where he's like the African dude is like.
Oh, I'm the captain now.
Captain Phillips.
It's one of those looks where it was just he didn't say much. Kind of walked over like.
Oh my god. Okay, what's the best Lil Wayne mixtape? Like.
Oh fuck. Drought 3.
There we go.
Yeah, I would go with Drought 3. I'm 28 years old, so like Drought 3 is like right when I was able to like master the use of profanity. Like age like maybe like 12, 13. And once you master profanity, hip hop takes a whole new turn.
Hey,
and then once
CBS Fantasy Genius has done that at a much younger age.
When you're into
my children have done it.
Oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, Drought. All the dedications are good too. Dedication 2 is really good. Yeah, Dedication 2. I think that's got a lot of Jay Mills on it. I really like Jay Mills. It's his birthday today too, actually. Fun fact. I'm pretty sure it's Jay Mills' birthday. I don't know if anyone's in New York. Natalie in New York? I think Jay Mills.
Jay Mills' birthday.
Yeah, Dedication 2 and then Drought 3. Those are my two favorites. I'm a big Wayne guy. I ride for Wayne.
Wow, and also shouts to Justin Britt.
And Justin Britt's into like all the new trap rap. If there's new Young Thug that's out, there's new Rod Wave, NBA YoungBoy. Like Justin Britt's on all of it, man. Random white guy from like Missouri, I think he's from. Just listens to everything.
You're recording this, right, Kevin?
I am. Yes. This was awesome. This was
Luke Wilson.
Okay, there are some questions from Mike in the chat. If you have questions, we might have missed them along the way. Mike, we have to ask you a few questions from the chat because this is incredible.
It's fine. I got no.
Let's get 2 or 3 questions in the chat.
Yeah, Luke Wilson definitely has the. It's just I went to Washington State. I don't know if people know that. So I lived in.
It's a kook-heavy episode, I gotta say.
So I don't necessarily enjoy the like boom to boom to boom. I just never really, because it wasn't that they played that. What they did in Pullman was they would take a song that has feeling and emotion, like it's like a fun song. I don't know. Give me a song that was hot, like Trap Queen, right? Take a song like Trap Queen, 2016, biggest song in the world. They'll take that and then like house music the shit. So you hear the sounds of Trap Queen come on, and you're like, hey, what's up? And the next thing you know, it's boom, boom, boom. I don't want to hear that shit. So when Luke's doing that house music stuff, I'm like, Luke, turn that the fuck off. So yeah, he has the worst taste.
Okay, who has bad taste on the Seahawks that you wouldn't expect to?
Let's see that I wouldn't expect to. I don't know if
Aside from Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Russ has bad taste. I I think he would go with whatever most popular. There was a day in the locker room in 2017 where I was learning the landscape, and the D-line was playing a bunch of trap. The O-line was playing a bunch of country, and the receivers were playing receivers and DBs were like playing whatever was the top 40 at the time. And
Justin Britt was on the D-line back then.
I forget who was controlling it back then. But it was very like segregated, as you would imagine, actually. Locker rooms are very segregated. And here comes Russ out of the shower by himself, like blasting like Aretha Franklin or something. Just like he was alone. I was like, wow, man, this is sad.
No.
Speaker out of the shower. It was
sad.
Gospel something. Maybe it wasn't Aretha, but it was some type of gospel. And it didn't fit the mood at all. He was also naked, so I didn't want to stare at him. Bad taste, I guess.
Like the one time I talked to him, I like asked him about music just as like a throwaway question, and he just mentioned Teddy Pendergrass. I was like, okay, that's legit. Like that was the only name he brought up. I was like, that's hardcore, but I respect it.
Also married Sierra, so I mean, like his taste.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's doing all right.
Yeah. You made me think of this moment. I was in the Giants locker room like during a practice day or something, and this random wide receiver, it was like late, so almost everyone was gone, and this wide receiver walked out of the showers, and he like had brought his boombox with him to the showers, and he was just blasting Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston like to the entire locker room, just like by himself walking back to his locker. He was like fully in the zone. I really respected it.
Okay, two final questions, one for each of you. Natalie, what is your latest WNBA thrifting find?
I think I've been trying to cut myself off because, as you may know, I lost my job. So I've been trying to cut down on the eBay purchases. I think the last thing I bought was this actually really cool WNBA hat, but unfortunately it doesn't fit my head very well. So I need to find a person to like bestow it on, but it's just like white and it's got red and blue letters that say WNBA and just like a black logo. It's like very simple, but cool.
All right, and Mike, last question for this segment. If you could have played one song at the Trump sock wedding, what would it have been?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's tough. Random MWBA thing real quick, though. I was just on the phone with Asia Wilson's agent, telling her how hard it was. They also rep Puna, I think. That's what we're talking about. I couldn't get a jersey when I was in Vegas. I wanted an Aces jersey. I didn't know that you could only buy them at the games. I didn't know you couldn't just go to a store because of some licensing thing or something. That was very frustrating because 22 was like one of my favorite numbers. That was my number when I hooped. Anyway, let's see. That's tough. It's a tie between Fuck Donald Trump and March Madness. I'll probably go March Madness. It's the greatest rap song ever. Let's go with that. I would have played March Madness as they kicked us out. Those big ass Samoan MAGA loving cops from Auburn, Washington, kicking us out of this wedding in Edom Club.
With their Trump socks. Christ.
Yeah, with Trump socks, Blue Lives Matter hats, and fuck, they're having in May 1st, 2021. They're having like an actual reception with like 300 people. I don't think I'm invited though.
Fuck them. Fuck them and FDT too.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us, Mike and Natalie. This was awesome. As we recap the Seahawks offseason and your summer and the weddings that you attended or got kicked out of, this was excellent. We can't wait to have you back both on soon.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.